Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, would you mind stand up, please, for 1 minute? Okay, are you ready? 1 minute only, yeah? You will get better after that. Okay, you follow me, yeah? You breathe in. You breathe out first. Yeah, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. You breathe out. Breathe in. You breathe out. One more time. Get relaxed. That's good. Let's start. I'm very pleased to moderate to the panel discussion. Yeah, welcome all the panelists. Yeah. First of all, let me introduce our panelists. As you know, Miss Vientiane Samson, she joined us online. And then the second one, Mr. Mo Kyo, Managing Partner, Vientiane and Associate. Yeah. And then number 3, I think Mr. Khun Darit, President of KICPAA. Yeah. Next one is Mr. O Sanyasit, Head of Division, Accounting and Regulatory Department, Minister of Finance of Lao. He probably speak in Lao, and we let the translator to do translation in English. Next one is Dr. Malaikam Pilapon, Deputy Managing Directors of SME Promotion Fund. Next one is Mr. Kolana Sawan Duangchit, Finance and Accounting Manager, Toyota Lao Company Limited. And the last one is Mr. Apisit Thiengtung Pinyo, Assurance Partner PwC Lao. So welcome on the panelists. So our discussion will be focus on implementation challenge of IFRS for SME Accounting Standard in CLMV jurisdiction, especially in Cambodia, Lao PDR and Myanmar. We will hear some best experience from our expert in both public sectors as regulators, private sector as implementators, practitioners that join us, as well as standard setters, IASP. Our discussion will last for approximately 1 hour, yeah, as planned, but we try to complete as a time, yeah, as time we shorten the question, probably that we will ask you few questions only. Yeah. Let's start with the first question. So could we please start by briefing, sharing our audience about framework of financial reporting in your jurisdictions? I mean, in the Cambodia, Lao, and Myanmar. Let's start from Lao first. Mr. Sanyasit.
สวัสดีบรรดาท่านข้าพเจ้าขอแลกเปลี่ยนบทเรียนในขอบข่ายการรายงานการเงินของสปป.ลาวซึ่งว่าอยู่ในอิงตามนิติกรรมกฎหมายว่าโดยการ4ของสปป.ลาวนี้ในขอบข่ายในการจัดตั้งปฏิบัติการรายงานการเงินของ SME หรือว่า IFRS for SME นี้ก็คือยังสปป.ลาวเขาได้รับรองมาตรฐานของลาวโดยดัดปรับมาจาก IFRS for SME ปี 2009 เพื่อมาเป็นมาตรฐานการรายงานการเงินสำหรับนัน PIE ของสปป.ลาวในการจัดตั้งปฏิบัตินั้นซึ่งว่าอยู่ในมาตรฐานของลาวนี้ที่ว่าดัดปรับมาจาก IFRS for SME ปี 2009 หันแบ่งออกเป็น2ขั้นก็คืออันที่1 LFRS for large entity และอัน2ก็คือ LFRS for SME ซึ่งว่าอย่างนี้เขาจัดแบ่งมาจากให้เหมาะสมกับธุรกิจอยู่ในสปป.ลาวซึ่งว่า micro entity นี้เขาให้ปฏิบัติตาม cash accounting basis นะอันนี้คือกรอบโดยรวมเป็นอย่างเหตุผลดังกล่าวนี้เป็นอย่างครับจึงพัฒนาเพื่อให้นำใช้อยู่สปปลาวนี้ในการ adapt IFRS for SME นี่ก็คือเพื่อให้ยกระดับคุณภาพและความเชื่อมั่นของเอกสารรายงานการเงินของนั่น PIE อยู่ในสปปลาวนี้เพื่อรองรับให้สภาพแวดล้อมในการเอื้ออำนวยในการพัฒนาการขยายตัวทางด้านเศรษฐกิจสังคมของสปปลาวให้แบบยืนยงเนาะในตัวนี้รักษาเสถียรภาพการเงินของสปปลาวซึ่งว่าอยู่ในอิงตามวิสัยทัศน์และทิศทางรวมของในการพัฒนาการเงินภาครัฐซึ่งว่าพร้อมเดียวกันนั้นนี่เป็นสปปลาวเป็นการเชื่อมโยงกับภาคพื้นและสากลเทื่อละก้าวอันนี้คือเป้าหมายในการพัฒนาของสปปลาวนะขอบใจ
The next one maybe representative from Myanmar to share experience on framework of financial reporting, your challenge, your plan or adoption of IFRS for SME standard.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'll be happy to share my experience of the IFRS for SME implementation, and especially, I'll be beginning the IFRS for SME journey in Myanmar. In fact, as we all know, IFRS for SME was first prescribed by ISB in July 2009. Those days, Myanmar have our own local accounting practices, but those local accounting practices are not formally written and approved by our council. So for your information, in Myanmar, we have Myanmar Accountancy Council, which is the only regulatory body governing the accounting profession. On the other hand, we have Myanmar Institute of Certified Public Accountants, which is recognized as a national accountancy body under the Myanmar Accountancy Council law. So we have already prescribed, Myanmar full MFIS, like a Myanmar Financial Reporting Standards Framework. And for SME, in 2010, Myanmar Accountancy prescribed IFRS for SME as our own standard, but we changed the name I into M, like Indonesia into Myanmar. And those SMEs are permitted to use Myanmar Financial Reporting Standards for SME, And even the definition of SME is as the same defined in the standard. We don't define the SME in terms of size, the number of employees, and the revenue. And SME is defined whether the entities are publicly accountable or not, as details in the standards, So in 2010, when the MAC, Myanmar Accountancy Council, permit SME entities to use Myanmar Financial Reporting Standards for SME, as you know, we have to change at least I into M. So even in 2015, as Michelle presented in her presentation, the limited amendments of IFRS for SME standards are made. We, Myanmar Accountancy Council, could not make such amendments. For that reason, in 2018, Myanmar Accountancy Council has decided, and permitted SME in Myanmar to use IFRS or SME as it is without even changing the name into Myanmar to, I into M. So, but, it is not a mandatory, they permit all the SME entities, to use the IFRS for SME as for their financial reporting. As our previous panel member discussed, there are some benefits of using IFRS for SME, like, increased access to finance, enhanced reputation, and so on and so forth. Those benefits are the same, One of the major challenges, in my opinion, is that there is still lacking awareness of the SME and also its stakeholders with regards to the SME standards. And at the same time, not only the awareness and understanding, they feel that, SME standards is still, although it is a simplified version, they feel that it's difficult for them to fully implement because of the lack of resources and expertise, And on the other hand, they also feel that, another challenge that the costs may outweigh the benefit they receive, Because SME by its nature, many SMEs are a few staff, owner managed, and if they fully comply, if they fully implement the SME, so the cost may outweigh the benefit, For that reason, Myanmar Accountancy Council allow them, okay, some of the SME, hey, we need a enhanced reputation, we need access to the finance, and we need more reliable and the information and also the investors' confidence. For that reason, hey, we will comply with the SME standards. Okay, that's fine. For some small business, they feel the cost may outweigh the benefit, and they have a limited resources. So for that reason, they have not chosen the IFRS SME standards. They are still following the local accounting practices. That's the current situation in Myanmar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think the same question that we asked experience from Cambodia.
Good afternoon and greeting from Cambodia, the country of opportunities. Cambodia case was quite similar to our friends in Myanmar. We have fully adopted IFRS and CIFRS and IFRS for SME without modifications back in 2009. With the broadcast and notification from the Ministry of Economy and Finance to have the entities, especially not public accountable entities, to implement IFRS for SMEs from January 1st, 2010. We only add one word. We did not make a change to it, but we add the word C. So C stands for Cambodian. Yes, and we are proud of it. In our case, it was a strategic decisions back then, which factor in the country and global context into the picture. Why I said that? So globally, IFRS for SME has been widely recognized and adopted, right? So it would be very convenient for assessment and consolidation in terms of financial statement. Back in more than 20 years ago, Cambodia has opened its economic door to the world. So to attract the FDI, to facilitate the flow of financings, both equity and debt financing to the country, the choice to have IFRS and IFRS for SME was a smart choice to us. It was a wonderful journey and a well thought through. Putting Cambodia context, so if we were to write our own standard, it would took us a lot of time, right? It would consume a lot of financial resources. It would require a lot of technical expertise and human resources, which we might not have enough to support the process. So the decision to have IFRS for SME with the word C was a right choice to us. There are a lot of opportunities and challenges along the way, and we learn a lot from our journey. And we would say, as Cambodian, we are proud with, and we would say it was the best decision that we have ever made. On the opportunity side, we see a lot of our SME becoming stronger and stronger each year, right? So since then, in 2010, where we first adopted, until now, it's 13 years. So you see how strong our economic growth is, and mainly backbone by our SME through a lot of FDI from the region and globally, because of the simplicity, because of the relevance, because of the global compatibility of our financial statement. So we were able to facilitate and attract a lot of FDI from Asian countries and the world. So our SME grow sustainably and with confidence, and we will continue to grow. On the challenges side, so I got one more opportunity. So if we are comparing the our qualified accountant and auditors back 20 years in 2002 up to now 2023, 20 years later. So the process we had were very well planned. In 2003, we had brought ACCA into the country. We established KICPA, Cambodia Institute for Certified Public Accountant and Auditors, as POA. So until from 2002 to now, we got so many qualified accountants and auditors. We have hundreds of them, although we do not have enough yet, but we have a lot of them. It was a bright side of the implementations. There was still a lot of challenges along the way too. And we learned from those challenges. One of the main challenges is not quite different from the other country: technical expertise and human resources. You know, although we have ACCA and we have CBA Australia in the country that brought the global professional qualification to our country, we are ready to support the implementations. But because of the language, right, English, and our native is Khmer, the program, Mr. Ratna is here, we have produced hundreds of ACCA member and qualified accountant and auditors. But because of the market are huge, right? A lot of them, majority of them come to the practice, and majority of them also go to financial sectors. Our finance sectors grow rapidly. We had more than 100 banks and financial institutions. They were attracted to work there. So the lack of qualified accountant at the SME, which are the preparer of the financial statement in accordance with CIFRS for SME. So those are the challenges to us. But overall, as our friend from Myanmar said, the challenges may be minimal and manageable, and we will cope over time, and we take the opportunities as the great learning process for the journey. So I think I will stop there for now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think from the presentation from the IASB, the IFRS for SME is revision process, right? I think hopefully that we have a new version. So is there any plan for Cambodia to adopt this new version in the future?
Thank you for the very good questions. No doubt, our train has kicked off, right? We have already midway, and we enjoyed the journey, and we took a lot of benefit from it, and we have existing resources available, both from the SME perspective, from the economic perspective, from the resource planning perspective. We do have sufficient resources in place, and we will be adopting the revised framework. Thank you.
Thank you. So now we move to Dr. Pilapon. As a regulator for SME in Laos, how you see the important adoption and implementing and international accounting reporting frameworks such as IFRS for SME Accounting Standard for SME in Laos?
Thank you very much. Perhaps I think it will be more on policymaker side rather than the regulator. This is because I come from the Ministry of Industry and Finance. Oh, sorry, Ministry of Industry and Commerce, sorry. According to the academic research and also so many studies, the result is overwhelming that adopting the IFRS for SME would benefit more than loss. However, in my opinion, I think while is benefit, however, there is a lot of expense or costs in order to adopt it and implement it. Still, I do believe that implement the national international standard. For example, IFRS for SME, I believe it will establish a common accounting language or the trusting accounting language. So this means is more transparency. So it will make a financial statement coherent and consistent across industry and countries, so many countries. So of course, it will benefit for public and private sectors. For the SME, I believe that it will help them get closer to the uniform or to the accounting and finance standard. I mean the international standard. And also it will help them produce the financial statement. And I think it's also reduce the international report cost for them when they want to access to the form of finance, for example, commercial banks, something like that. For the public sectors, I do believe that if we enhance them to adopt the IFRS for SME, of course, the government could identify the business efficiency, and also we enhance the transparency, and this will attract more for the foreign direct investment. I think this all for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move to preparer. Yeah, Mr. Sawan Dongchit. What are some of the key action that your organization has introduced to keep your leadership and management with the necessary of understanding and expertise to adapt and implement the LFIS in Laos, right? Because Laos has converts IFRS for SME version 2009, so as LFIS. Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to introduce that as our company just established in Laos for 5 years. Even we are the international company, Toyota, but still we try to comply all the local regulations, but still we need to have another is that group reporting, which is follow IFRS. We have decided that, okay, we will start with the LFRS first, but still from the group side, they still have some kind of the develop the specified financial reporting manual for the automotive industry, which is will be support for us better on this specified industry area, which is actually from the group company, which is our mother company is Toyota Tsusho Corporations. They are doing quite plenty kind of the business, but still for us, we need some kind of the special manual or specified manual that's need to follow and adopt it. And another is that we also has been supportive by the corporate divisions under the group, which is they try to close up follow us for the implementations and actions on those reporting. And another is that we also have the team under the due diligence divisions, which is they will come to the company to check and then give us some suggestions and supportive us on implementations also. Yeah, that's all for the company. Thank you.
Thank you. So we move to practitioner point of view, Mr. Thiên Tông Binyo. Yeah. So what has been your observation so far in terms of the Lao PDR shareholder preparation toward adoption and implementing the IFRS for SME LFRS in Lao? And what are you see there any opportunities that practitioner can explore to serve the SME better?
Hello. Sabadi, good afternoon, Saturday, and Todikhap. For in terms of point of view, actually, I'm an auditor. That's why I need to get involvement, right, when we audit. Actually, for the LFRS, it's the thing. It's now since 2017. For the LFRS, they are split into groups. For the LFRS, for the largest company, is quite similar with LFRS for SME for version that Mr. O said before, right? In that time, it's really quiet because I work with the regulator also and found that it's like this is really new for Lao, right? You can imagine when you study in the university, right? You just record very simple transaction, debit credit side. For example, if you have the rental, you just record in a debit expense, credit payable, or cash, right? But one day when you found that no, the practice is different already. You need to identify for the IFRS for SME, you still need to identify whether is it meet the criteria of the finance or operating list. Then in that time, the regulator here, I think they work hard and try to find out how to make it more clearly and how to arrange like a training, right, to support the accountant in Lao. But the honesty, the progress of this one is slow. But after COVID time, I think everything changed. The accounting department and the LCPAA, they work together during past 2 years. Especially when Mr. Sonsai, he is very active. He and his team and accounting department also try to arrange the seminar and ask Big Four to join. I'm one part of the team also, and EY, and sometimes invite the local firm who understand in some topic to join also. In terms of regulator, I think they have more active. But I think their challenging is now, right? They focus the focusing is on Vientiane, right? But in terms of the province, for example, in the Pak State, in the Luang Prabang, that is the big province also. According to the facility, it's not good, and I think because the limitation of number of regulator, it's difficult to delay the message or to have the training. But this year, I think they have the good plan. In terms of the company or the corporate, it's also quiet also when they know that Lao have the LFIS, right? But again, after COVID time, I think because of more foreign investor, they come to Lao, right? In the past, Lao, when they recorded the entry, they have what they call is the accounting manual. It will show when you have this transaction, right? You should debit, credit, blah 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 blah, right? And then it's easy, right? Because it's like you have the direction. But for LFIS, for SME, it's the principal base also. Then it's difficult for them to adjust this one also. But after the foreign investor come, for example, Toyota, right? Because they are big name, when they go to everywhere, they said, hey, we need to be the good in that country, and they try to start. And another group is the local company who had never focused on the finance reporting before, but because of now there are more investors from overseas, for example, from Thailand, from China, from Singapore, from Malaysia also. And one of the first top 5 questions when they come to Lao, they always ask, hey, may I see your financial statement? What is the basic of preparation? Then I think now the management here, they acknowledge more, and then some company, they set up the team how to develop their accounting practice to LFIS or IFRS. This is for the environment in Lao now. Thank you.
Maybe I ask 2 more questions to Suwandojit and Mr. Tintong Panyo. I think in terms of support from regulators, from government, you think that what kind of support or practitioner can serve you better? What are they? What will you expect for that?
Yes, thank you for the questions. I think that recently we have seen quite very good supportive from the regulator side, which is accounting regulatory department, which they try to set up the introductions of the LFIS in training, which is from the company side. We also send the employee to attend the seminar, the training also. And another that I see is that from the regulator side, they also try to create some of the guidance for the implementations or actions of doing the reporting, which is I think that it's quite good for us, and then will be the standardized for most of the company in Laos. Yeah, it's just for my view. Thank you.
Miss Sensam, maybe you mentioned about several implementation challenges in your presentation. What has been done to resolve them? What are some of the key takeaways that early adopter can learn from in order to avoid similar problem?
So in terms of support for implementation, I apologize. There are available on our website educational modules, and we do here, and recently we looked at some of the statistics for the use of those education modules. So the modules are freely available on our website, and for each chapter of the SME standard, there's a module that helps. It's an education module, and we still, even though the 2015 edition of the standard has been out for some time, we still see a lot of people accessing those modules. So I think when I hear about implementation challenges, education is was one of the key challenges we heard in the past, and that I would look at how those modules can support you on those challenges. I think we know from our own experience that it's important when we issue the next edition of the standard that we are able to work with you as partners to help you with the changes that will be made to the standard. I think as well, we are more aware, and we have seen a lot more support in more recent times when IFRS standards have been amended for there being support for implementations, with some of the implementation groups being formed. So we will be working with our SME implementation group as well as we come to the end of this second comprehensive review.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I think we listen to all our panelists. So now maybe it's open the floor, maybe 10 minutes for your question here, participant here in the room and maybe online. Yeah, if they have any specific question or interesting question, we have 10 minutes. Yeah.
I think, may I take some information about Myanmar if there's no questions for the time being? With the support of ADB, we have translated IFRS for SME into Myanmar language in 2019, and when the IFRS for SME was first prescribed in Myanmar in 2010, we also invited IESB. In those days, we invited board member, Mr. Paul Pector, and also the board member of Hong Kong Institute of Certified Public Accountants, Miss Winnie Chan. They came and conducted a 3 days workshop for IFRS for SME standards, which is really, really, useful, for us, Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, panel, for the interesting discussion. Just one question. If there was one piece of advice that any of you would like to give to SMEs in Lao, what would that be? Just one piece of advice.
Will we start first?
Yeah, as I'm from Laos, maybe a lady first could start first. For us, our mandate is to promote and support SME development and growth. And also, I believe that we try to work closely with the Ministry of Finance, for example, Mr. O, one of the panelists, in order to enhance the capacity for MSME, in particularly SME, small and medium enterprise, for them to adopt and implement national accounting standard. And when I attend this workshop, this conference, I'm aware that this is very important for us as a policymaker. We have to do something start from now or never, borrow from slogan from some advertisement. So I think we do have small fund. We do have a grant for enhance their ability to start to do maybe from bookkeeping. As we know that there are resource constraints, they need to have limited resource in terms of human and also financial resource. So we try to support them, to encourage them, bring them to the training. Also, we send them to the some short course related to accounting and finance. This will help them know how to produce the financial standard statement, and also will help them access to the formal finance, for example, microfinance or commercial banks. And also, I think we have to work closely with the international level in order to gain more understanding, more knowledge, and also to exchange the experience, so that maybe we could invite them to provide the training directly to MSME in Laos. Perhaps we start from the sectors that had potential for export, or the sector that had potential to collaborate or work with the foreign direct investment or international investor. So I think maybe a lot of key person here that I would love to contract in the future in order to ask for your support, and also in order to work or collaborate with you in order to promote and support and help Lao and MSME. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to add to the questions, and it's very strategic questions per se. If I'm about to offer the advice to the SMEs in Laos, one piece is to make a timely and strategic investment, because implementing IFRS for SME is quite complicated, although the standard itself is, it's relevant, it's simplified for SME, but the process to successfully implement is very challenging. So strategic investment in terms of their human resources in the finance and accounting department, their people, whether they need to be sent to schools, whatever, or professional qualifications. The investment for the finance and accounting department itself also crucial into the implementation, because to successfully implement, you need to have architectures for the company. You need to have the finance and accounting policy. You need to have the procedures. You need to have proper chart account. You need to have software, right? You need to have people. So these factors need to be invested timely if you are about to execute or implement in 2025. The investment to be now, or last 3 years, because investment or building capacity for people and for entities, it would take a lot of time. Yeah. So that's a piece of advice I can offer. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. PC. Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, first, yes.
Yeah. From my point of view, I think to be success on the IFRS or LFRS implementations there, for the most company in Laos, and especially for us, I think that's mainly we need to increase the number of the qualified public accountants under the organizations, which is quite important, which currently I think that's more for our company, it's just less than 50% of the total staff under the accounting and finance department, which is quite, I think that will be very hard for us to success if we have just a ratio like this. But if we can increase more than 50%, that will be supportive for us more. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Abhisit.
Hello. Hello. Okay. For how to successful of this, actually, I do agree with Corona, because the number of the qualified accountant in Laos is now you can imagine 1,000 a bit. But only the corporate company, only the company in Vientiane, Vientiane, we have more than 10,000 already. You can imagine about the ratio, right? And I actually am glad to see that the Laos LCPAA, they arranged the Laos CPA class, right? And I think last year there are allowed 100 people to graduate, right? But actually I had discussed with them also. You can imagine every year you have only 200 people. But in terms of business, like especially after Laos open the country, the number of investors will be more and more. That's the really challenge in this time. And a good thing also that I heard that for the LCPAA, they join with the university, right, to learn the class in terms of accounting. Then it means that when the new graduate they graduate from the university, they have they acknowledge, they learn about the new accounting. I said that. But again, the number of the new graduated in terms of accounting is around 100 also. That's it really challenge นะครับ ก็ leave it to the regulator นะครับ as a professional firm, what we can support is now we try to identify like which standard or for SME that may have the impact to the business, the most impact for the business in Laos, and then we pick up some standard, and we work with the regulator to arrange the training. But the training, I think I share with them already based on my experience. We arrange the training a lot, right? But it's just like you copy the text from the text from the ISS 16, from the IFRS 7 something. But I think when you adopt IFRS or IFRS, you will know that sometimes in our country, in your country, the factor that mentioned in the standard don't have in the reality. That's why another factor is when we would like to make it successful, the regulator, for example, accounting department, LCPAA, actually Bank of Laos also, for some area that may not have the factor in Laos, I think we need to discuss together. And yes, maybe in this time you can go for this, go for that. That's it, the direction. After that, maybe in the next 5 years, everything will be growth and Laos has more information. Then it may successful in the future. ครับผม
Is it working? Okay, thank you. My last comment is that, the presentation of Mr. Samson is very, very comprehensive. All the challenges, benefits are there. And the key takeaway from my side is, all my advice is, as mentioned in the presentation, that I should see the 3S, the stable platform, SME standard compared to the full IFRS will not be frequently changed, stable platform. Another S is simplifying accounting process. ISP is also trying to simplify the accounting standards without, conflicting any benefit, and less S is a substantially less disclosure, which will not be a burden for the SME. I think it's very useful, Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, my point is I agree with other people that opinion. In the case in Lao PDR, the SME, that's that largely before they follow the accounting manual like a Lubet, they follow the debit credit only, but we transition to adopt the IFRS for SME, just like principle based, right? They don't know. They don't have a financial information system. That not enough information to implement the IFRS for SME. That's the problem. Then the source the regulator try to support the training for them for IFRS for SME or Lao IFRS, but almost business in Lao is the SME and very, very small. That they have already 3 or 4 staffs. They don't know, they don't have the background in accounting. How they move on, how to transition to the IFRS. This is the problem in Lao PDR. So LCPAA, they have the accountancy course for them, but like Mr. Apis said that they just get only a few accountants, but we have RAS entity, many company in Lao PDR. So the strategy is a human resource in Lao PDR. The financial information system for support to the implementation the IFRS for SME. That's it. It's a case in Lao PDR. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sensam, maybe your key advice, one key advice for stakeholders in CLMV jurisdictions?
So I think when you're implementing the IFRS for SMEs, it is important that you have a very clear project plan, and you have roles and responsibilities within that project plan identified. I understand the point about resources, and I think working with, for very small companies, working with their accountants is their key relationship, and working with them with IT resources that they can share is really important as well. So I think the whole bit around resources and how they use IT to support their preparation of financial statements is becoming more and more important as well.
Thank you, Simpson. Thank you, panelists. That's the end of our sessions. Thank you for your listening.